God decently respect the opinions of mankind requires them to declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator.
How are you going to fix them?
Unalienable rights.
I mean,
Among these are life, liberty,
as
the pursuit of happiness. And to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, derive their just power from the consent of the government. And whenever a form of government becomes destructive of these ends, the right of the people to alter or abolish and institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall be most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate government so long established to not change for life and transit. And according to all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while fevers are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpation, pursuing invariably the same object, senses are designed to reduce them under absolute despotism. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off the government and to provide new guards. Such has been and such is now the necessary which constrains them to alter their former system of government. The history of the present Great Britain is a history of repeated injury and usurpation, all having been directed by the establishment of absolute tyranny over each state. Let that be submitted to the enchanted world. He has refused the law, the most wholesome and necessary He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operations with assent should be obtained. When so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of law districts of people unless those people would relinquish their right of representation in legislation, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual and possible and shifted from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of keeping them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses for opposing with manly firmness his invasion on the rights of such people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolution, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative power incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercise. Just remaining in the meantime to oppose all the others of the nation of He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for the purpose of limiting the laws of naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the condition of new appropriation of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new officers and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and out their subjects. He has among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators. He has affected to render the military of and civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, given us assent to their acts of pretended legislation. for quartering large parties of armed among us, for protecting them by a mock trial, from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off trade in all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in the neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute way our churches, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has advocated here by declaring us out protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our cities, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries, complete the work of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun to circumvent policy and perfect, scarcely paralleled in this the most barbarous age. We have restrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on high seas of their arms against their country, become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has incited domestic insurrections amongst us, and endeavored to bring on the merciless Indian savages, the rule of warfare, and independent destruction of all ages, sections, and nations. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitions for redress. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injustice. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define his tyrant, fit to be the ruler of a free country. Nor have we been wanting attention to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislators to extend an unacceptable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conquered them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow usurpation, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our segregation and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war and friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assemble appealing to the Supreme Judge, the world, for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right, ought to be free and independent states. They are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have the full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortune, and our sacred honor. Declaration of Independence.
Woo!